Angel Reese just had the most embarrassing performance of her career on the biggest stage in basketball. At the United Center, the largest arena in the NBA, with a sold-out crowd watching on primetime TV, she managed just 4 points on 2 of 7 shooting, while the Indiana Fever demolished the Chicago Sky by 27 points. But here's what makes this even more brutal. The Fever didn't even have Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, or their head coach. And the moment that sealed Reese's humiliation? Well, we'll talk about that in this video, as Caitlin Clark did something on live TV that is putting Reese in her place. You know a player isn't really a draw when tickets to see them plummet to the price of a gas station candy bar. This United Center game was supposed to be Angel Reese's big moment to prove she could carry viewership and attendance without needing Caitlin Clark as the main attraction. The Chicago Sky had been pushing this narrative all season long, that Reese was just as much of a box office draw as Clark, that fans came to see her play too. Then reality hit like a freight train. Once Caitlin Clark was confirmed out with her quad injury, ticket prices collapsed from premium pricing to just $3. $3. You can't even buy a decent coffee for that price, yet that's what people were willing to pay to watch Angel Reese play basketball at the United Center. This wasn't just a small dip in pricing either. We're talking about tickets that were initially priced at premium levels for what was supposed to be a marquee matchup between two of the WNBA's supposed biggest stars. The moment Clark's absence became official, the bottom fell out of the secondary market. Scalpers couldn't give these tickets away, and fans who had been excited about the game suddenly lost interest. And we now clearly know there is only one star. Social media told the whole story. Fans were posting screenshots of the $3 tickets with laughing emojis, making jokes about how they could afford to take their entire family to see the Sky play for less than the cost of parking. The excitement that had been building around this United Center showdown deflated faster than a punctured basketball. Let's be real. This was supposed to be Chicago's moment to shine. The Sky had been talking about how Reese brought her own fan base, how she was appointment television, how people tuned in specifically to watch her play. But when push came to shove, and Clark wasn't there to drive interest, the market spoke loudly and clearly about who fans actually wanted to see. Oof, what an outfit Angel Reese was rocking. She put a lot of time, a lot of effort into making sure her ensemble was on point. Are my boots matching my jacket? Are my gloves matching my hat? Angel Reese put in tons of time for this outfit, which begs the question, does Angel Reese put in more time in her outfits for the pre-game catwalk, or does she put in more time to actually get better at the game of basketball? Compare this to previous games where Clark's presence drove massive ticket sales and sellout crowds. Fans lined up hours before games just to catch a glimpse of Clark warming up. The contrast couldn't have been more stark, folks. There were people in the crowd getting there early saying, "Hey Kayla, can you sign my jersey? Hey Aaliyah, can you sign my shirt? Hey Sophie, can you sign my picture?" There were people asking for autographs in the Chicago Sky crowd that weren't even born yet. The last time the Chicago Sky scored this little amount of points, there were people in the crowd who weren't even a thought in their parents' minds at the time that the Chicago Sky last scored at least 52 points, the lowest point total since 2011. Even Chicago Sky fans seemed less interested without the Clark matchup to look forward to. The energy around the game shifted from electric anticipation to resigned obligation. People who had been planning watch parties suddenly had other plans for their Friday night. This ticket price disaster was just the beginning of Angel Reese's worst nightmare coming true on the biggest stage. The $3 tickets perfectly predicted exactly what kind of performance we were about to witness from Chicago's supposed superstar. 4 points on 2 of 7 shooting in 27 minutes on primetime TV. This is how you destroy your reputation in real time. The United Center was hosting its first ever WNBA game. CBS had cleared their primetime schedule with no competition on television, and a sold-out crowd packed the biggest arena in the NBA expecting fireworks. Instead, they got to watch Angel Reese have what analysts called a disaster class. Let's break down just how bad this performance really was. Reese managed only 4 points while missing 5 of her 7 shots, including 2 embarrassing missed layups that had the crowd groaning. One of those attempts got blocked entirely, and the cameras caught every moment of her visible frustration as the game slipped away. For someone who's been pushed as Chicago's superstar and supposed box office draw, this stat line was absolutely brutal. Caitlin Clark is averaging more assists per game than Angel Reese is averaging points per game this season. Yeah. 9.3 points per assists per game, 9.3 assists per game. Let me just bring it up to 9.1 points per game. You know what made this even worse? Reese looked completely lost out there. She made poor decisions, seemed overwhelmed by the moment, and appeared to have no answer for Indiana's defensive pressure. The cameras didn't miss a single frustrated headshake or disappointed gesture as shot after shot clanged off the rim. This wasn't just missing a few tough shots. This was a player who looked like she didn't belong on the same court as a professional basketball team. The crowd's reaction told the whole story. What started as excited anticipation from fans who paid good money to see this matchup quickly turned into restless disappointment. You could hear the frustration building as Reese continued to struggle, and by the fourth quarter, some fans were already heading for the exits, despite the historic nature of this United Center game. Here's what makes this performance even more embarrassing. Leading up to the game, Reese had been all over social media, posting about her celebrity activities and maintaining her usual confident presence online. But when the lights got brightest and the stage got biggest, she completely folded under pressure. Oof. What an outfit Angel Reese was rocking. She put a lot of time, a lot of effort into making sure her ensemble was on point. Are my boots matching my jacket? Are my gloves matching my hat? Angel Reese put in tons of time for this outfit, which begs the question, does Angel Reese put in more time in her outfits for the pre-game catwalk, or does she put in more time to actually get better at the game of basketball? The Sky's offensive struggles went beyond just Reese, though her failures stood out as particularly painful to watch. No Chicago player reached double figures in scoring, and the team managed only 52 points, their lowest total since 2011. But even in that context of team-wide failure, Reese's performance was the most glaring disappointment. One analyst didn't hold back, stating that Angel Reese once again proves she is nowhere near Caitlin Clark's level. This wasn't just a bad game, it was a complete collapse on the biggest stage women's basketball had to offer. The Fever took full advantage of this meltdown without even needing their best player on the court. But unfortunately, Angel Reese brought her outfit and left her game at home. She brought the nice hat, she brought the nice boots, she brought the nice jacket, she brought the nice gloves, but unfortunately, she left her game at home. 4 points, 12 rebounds, 2 assists, in 27 minutes of action, a minus 23 turnovers as the Chicago Sky, without Caitlin Clark, without Sophie Cunningham, without Steffi Whitehall. This wasn't Angel Reese's first public humiliation against the Fever. It's becoming a disturbing pattern that started months ago. Let's take you back to May 17th, when the Indiana Fever absolutely destroyed the Chicago Sky 93-58 at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. That 35-point blowout wasn't just a bad game, it was the beginning of what would become Angel Reese's worst nightmare against Indiana. During that May matchup, Reese tried to get physical with Caitlin Clark, attempting to intimidate her and throw her off her game. You could see Reese getting increasingly aggressive, making contact whenever possible, trying to establish some kind of dominance over Clark. But her tactics completely backfired as the Fever cruised to one of the most lopsided victories in WNBA history. Here's what makes this pattern so damaging for Reese's reputation. The May embarrassment wasn't an isolated incident. It was the first chapter in what's now become a completely one-sided rivalry. The Fever are 2-0 against Chicago this season, and both games have been absolute blowouts. Fan reactions tell the whole story. Social media is flooded with side-by-side comparisons of both games, highlighting how Reese has consistently underperformed when facing Indiana. Comments range from questioning her ability to perform under pressure to straight-up mocking her attempts to compete with Clark in the Fever. The 35-point loss in May, followed by this 27-point disaster at the United Center, shows a clear pattern. Reese's confidence seems to completely crumble whenever she faces Indiana. Her aggressive tactics don't work, her shooting falls apart, and she looks lost on the court. What we're witnessing isn't just bad games, it's the complete dismantling of Angel Reese's confidence and reputation against Indiana. The Fever have gotten so deep into her head that she can't even function properly when they're on the opposite side of the court. This pattern reveals something bigger about both players' legacies and where this rivalry is actually headed. Here's what makes this beatdown even more brutal. The Fever didn't need Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, or even their head coach to destroy Chicago. Think about that for a second. Indiana was missing 3 absolutely crucial pieces of their puzzle, yet they still delivered a dominant 27-point victory that left the Sky looking like a high school team playing against professionals. No Caitlin Clark, no problem. No Sophie Cunningham, no problem. No head coach Stephanie White. Have no fear, the final boss, Austin Kelly, is here. The Chicago Sky. We came into your building and we just, from pillar to post, smacked you guys around. Kelsey Mitchell stepped up in a massive way, leading the Fever with 17 points on solid 5 of 11 shooting, while adding 5 rebounds and 2 assists. Mitchell showed exactly why she's been such an important veteran presence for this team, taking control of the offense and never letting Chicago gain any momentum. Her leadership on the court was obvious from the opening tip, but here's where it gets really impressive. Ari McDonald came off the bench and absolutely torched the Sky with 12 points, including 3 made three-pointers and 4 steals. McDonald signed a hardship contract and immediately made Chicago pay for every mistake they made. She ran the offense like she'd been with the team all season, showing the kind of basketball IQ that separates professional players from pretenders. The Fever's ball movement told the whole story about their superior basketball fundamentals. They recorded 20 assists on 27 made field goals, which shows a team-first mentality that Chicago simply couldn't match. Every possession looked smooth and purposeful, while the Sky appeared chaotic and disjointed on the other end. Acting head coach Austin Kelly deserves major credit for keeping this team focused and executing their game plan without missing a beat. Kelly stepped in for Stephanie White, and the team never skipped a beat, showing the depth and professionalism throughout Indiana's entire organization. Kelly emphasized defense after the game, stating, "Our best defense is when our offense is clicking." Natasha Howard contributed 13 efficient points, while Aaliyah Boston added 11 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. Even Lexi Hull reached a career milestone, surpassing 500 career points during the blowout. The balanced scoring and contributions from every player on the court demonstrated just how deep this Fever roster really is. The Fever held Chicago to just 52 points through lockdown defense and smart rotations. They forced turnovers, contested every shot, and made the Sky work for every single point they managed to score. This win proved the Fever aren't just the Caitlin Clark show. They're a legitimate title contender with or without their biggest star on the court. The depth, coaching, and championship mentality displayed in this United Center beatdown sent a clear message to the entire league about Indiana's serious championship aspirations. This United Center performance cemented the narrative that the Fever are ascending while the Sky are falling apart. Angel Reese's 4-point disaster on national television showed exactly where this rivalry stands, completely one-sided in Indiana's favor. The Fever's depth and resilience positions them as serious championship contenders heading into 2025, proving they can dominate opponents even without their biggest stars. Caitlin Clark is scheduled for re-evaluation on June 9th and could potentially return as early as Tuesday against the Atlanta Dream. Imagine what happens when Clark rejoins this already dominant Indiana team that doesn't even need her to crush their rivals by 27 points. If you can't wait for Reese's next blooper, the comment, "Fire the baby giraffe," down below.